Welcome to the PRX Symposium, Emerging Threats to Podcasting's Open Ecosystem. I am Paloma Orozco. I'm the Director of Technical Distribution at PRX. So that's a long title, and you probably don't know what that means, which is fine. So I work with producers on a day-to-day basis. We talk about RSS feeds, Podcasting 101, third-party podcast apps, so it involves a lot of training. I like to kindly refer to myself as a podcast therapist. That's up for debate. Before we start, please take some time to review our code of conduct, which you can find at podcastprivacy.org. You can also find the email address at the bottom of today's rundown. And so if you have comments, questions, or concerns, you can email privacy-symposium@prx.org. After lunch, we're following Chatham House rules, and they're designed to facilitate an open discussion without attributing specific comments to individuals. And now I have the pleasure of introducing the CEO of PRX, Kerri Hoffman. But before she starts, just a little bit about Kerri. She's played a key role in the building and evolution of PRX. She's helped lead the launch of Radiotopia, the Moth Radio Hour, and Reveal, all award-winning. She hired me. And she's been our fearless leader throughout the ever-changing podcasting ecosystem. So please give a round of applause to CEO of PRX, Kerri Hoffman.
Since we have so many smart people in this room, I'd like to challenge anyone to build a podium for someone who's 5'2". This is like an endemic issue. They must have instructors here at the new school that are my size. Thank you, Paloma. And I get the privilege of doing a few thank yous before we get things rolling. The whole PRX team and many people in this room have contributed to a very important conversation. But specifically, I'd like to call out a few. Lisa Gardner-Springer, who is helpful in raising our money. Blake Eskin and Alexandra Blair in particular. And if everyone from PRX could just kind of raise your hand, and these are incredibly smart people. Thank you. We also have had a team of advisors helping us who are just really smart thinkers in their own professions and have contributed greatly to this conversation. And I also just want to say a word about our CTO, Andrew Kuklowitz. And so Andrew has been working at PRX since the early days, and so that means that he has both led, built, and fixed all of PRX's technology since the earliest days. And he is creative, he is brilliant, and I am so grateful that he and the rest of our technology team has dedicated their career to building technology in the public interest, and they really deserve a big round of applause. So thank you. So whether you're in this room because you're an OG or you're a newcomer, or you kind of wring your hands and worry about what's happening to the podcast landscape, whether you're ready to throw in the towel, or whether you're one of those people, and this may be me, but don't tell anyone, who gets excited about standards and rules of things. I think we can all agree that we are at an inflection point. It's not the only inflection point. There will be others in our future, but it's an important one. And PRX was founded the same year as podcasting, and we were, the early values of PRX were really based on the open web, inspired by Creative Commons, and also like the rebellious nature of community radio at the time. Flash forward today, and we have revenue models that need really incredible scale. We have an attention span that's shrinking. The audience is everywhere. And you may worry, this is really what I worry about, is the disaggregated nature of podcasting a strength or a weakness? And we could and will debate this today. But I will argue that a healthy ecosystem needs many open access points and many pockets of inspiration and success. And it needs to breathe, especially in these early days. And as the industry grows, we need a number of other things. We need inspiration, we need experiments. We actually need to fail a little bit more and not crucify those failures, but really learn from them. We also need to create standards. I'll just say that again. And we also actually need threats, because threats give us kind of an opportunity to focus the mind on both what we appreciate but also what we worry about. And it opens up our sense of opportunity. So I feel like this is an important moment and conversation. And we also need leaders who support very essential conversations. And one of those leaders is Doron Weber, who runs the program for hopefully I'll get this exactly right. The Public Understanding of Science, Technology, and Economics at the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation. And the Sloan Foundation uses books and movies and TV and new media to help bridge our understanding of science and the humanities and where they intersect. This is a very impressive list of things that, it's a longer list. I'll give you just a highlight of some of the things that have been funded by Doron and through Sloan, Science Friday, NOVA, American Experience, World Science Foundation. Doron was an early funder and fan of Radiolab. And through his leadership, he also helped launch the Digital Public Library of America and also scale Wikipedia, which is really the largest encyclopedia in the whole world. And more recently, he has worked collaboratively across the Sloan Foundation on the importance of data privacy. So he has really helped us create this space and this moment for this conversation. And please join me in a warm round of applause for Doron Weber.
Hi, everybody. Well, Kerri just said basically what I'm going to tell you, although it's two programs at Sloan. So, and let me explain the distinction, because I think it's relevant today, because I'm here wearing two hats. First of all, thank you very much for coming here, and thank you, Kerri, for pulling this impressive meeting together. And my salute to PRX for taking a leadership role in this. I think this is a really important topic. So first, as Kerri mentioned, my kind of better known program at Sloan is Public Understanding of Science Technology, which is like a multimedia company, nonprofit for science, books, radio, films, theater, television, new media. One example I'll just point out, because yesterday Katherine Johnson died at 101. I don't know how many of you read her obituary. So we gave a small book grant to an unknown author named Margot Lee Shetterly about 6 years ago, and she wrote the book Hidden Figures, which then became a movie, and now we're actually developing it probably as a TV series, maybe a play. It also led to a Congressional Gold Medal honoring the women of Hidden Figures. Again, a great cultural impact coming out of that. But the other program that I'm involved with, which Kerri alluded to in terms of Wikipedia, Digital Public Library of America, is called Universal Access to Knowledge. And we started it around actually the time of RSS, around 2003, 2004, when the idea was to take advances in digital information technology and harness them for the greatest public good under fair and secure conditions. And we were especially concerned then, for those of you who can remember that far back, when Google announced its book search. And for me personally as a writer, in particular, the notion that a for-profit company was going to start owning intellectual property and co-opting it. And I think there's a kind of deja vu all over again what's happening now. And I think this is a pattern that we're going to see over and over again. And in terms of this space, except today we're living in an age that Shoshana Zuboff has termed surveillance capitalism, which is, for those of you who don't know her book, I recommend it. I mean, there are different ways of describing it, but I mean, her thesis that we're living in a new economic order, really a fundamental change where you and I and our behavior is now the free raw material for exploitation, to turning into behavioral data, which is fed into machine intelligence, which is then fabricated into prediction products. She takes it pretty far, but in whatever terms you want to think about it, I think we're facing new challenges, unprecedented challenges in terms of big tech. And I think, so today's meeting, for me, is a part of that broader question about privacy and exactly about how we're going to keep these channels open and we're going to be able to express ourselves. And the danger, as I see it, is that on the one hand, you have corporations who are simply greedy, so they just want to make money. But the danger is when you get an authoritarian system, and we like to point to China, but some people might point to the potential in the United States, then you've got a perfect storm, and then you can use that power for a lot of bad things. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you very much for coming, and I'm really looking forward to today's discussion.
Our project manager for this whole symposium has been Blake Eskin, and I just want to say thank you very much. Blake is a teacher of journalism and design here at the New School, and I think more than a teacher, he is a mentor, he is a thought leader, he's been in podcasting since 2005, and honestly, he has been the best person to help us kind of shape this conversation that we're about to have today. So thank you, Blake. I'll hand it to you. I had advanced the slide already, so we're already ahead of things, so there you go.
So I just first want to say thank you to Kerri, thank you to Andrew, thank you to everybody at PRX. This is something I have cared about and didn't quite know how to put it into words or hold a conversation about. And when this came up, I was so excited to be able to be involved in it. Thank you also to Doron, to the Sloan Foundation for their support for making this meeting possible. So a quick word about journalism and design. Journalism and design is a program here at the New School. With the help of the Knight Foundation, we pivoted away from literary journalism. I think the economy had already pivoted away from literary journalism, and we teach our students in a sort of platform agnostic way, using design methodology and systems thinking to implement the values of journalism in whatever they're making. So my students do everything from, kind of traditional reporting about Hurricane Sandy. One of our photographer today was one of my capstone students, and she did a project on women in music photography. And then we also have people do projects that are like, I want to make new templates for the New School Free Press, or design like the archive, and I want to build an archive. And I really enjoyed watching that student talk about her project, because it was exactly all the problems that big, multi-million-dollar organizations had with turning their paper archives into digital archives. So that's where we are today. And that's an undergraduate program at Eugene Lang College, which is one of the liberal arts college of the New School. Although the building today we're in is more of a performing arts. Speaking of the building today, there is Wi-Fi access. It is not the most graceful guest access, but all of you should be able to get on to Wi-Fi. And there are also bathrooms. The bathrooms are back that way. There are, I believe, the New School, there are also gender-neutral bathrooms, single person, and actually I think there are also multi-person gender-neutral bathrooms in this building. So whatever, and there's plenty of signage explaining that. So, and then the last thing I just want to mention is that, as Paloma mentioned, we're on the record this afternoon, we are under Chatham House rule, but we have a hashtag. It is podcast privacy, all one word, and we encourage you to use it if you are sharing things from the symposium today, something you heard, something you want to argue with, whatever that is. This is the beginning of a conversation. I talked to a lot of people who weren't able to be here today but want to be part of this conversation, and we're hoping, we're curious to see where things go today and where the conversation goes from here. So please extend it onto the internet.